Welcome back to Tuesday Eternal. I'm Duocat, and this is Game Grump.
Hello, I am Game Grump.
uh, so yeah, yeah, apparently we got Cassandra's now doing a Times of Summer thing, all July long. All subs, bits, and ad revenue are going to charity and double subs, and starts July 1st. So if you guys want to check out Cassandra's stream, he's a sponsor of the T&E, and yeah.
Yep.
Oh yeah,
And
you got all get the emote as well. And if you get enough subs, it's gonna dye his hair pink. That's another thing. Oh yeah, sorry. If he gets enough
if
subs
enough
to unlock a new
subs,
emote, if you unlock a new emote, he dyes his hair pink. That's what it was. Thank you, voice of God.
yeah, so make sure to tune into Cassandra. Make sure to donate. That way, everything goes to charity, and you have the chance to see everybody's favorite Eternal streamer dye his hair pink for who knows how long.
Forever, hopefully.
But it's not allowed to change it.
He's never allowed to change it. He has to keep dyeing it pink.
Yep. Going into the match.
Oh yeah, and the proceeds go to the Trevor Project. That's the other thing. That's the other thing.
Oh, yes.
I've completely
Going into the
butchered
match,
this.
we are going to feature the Praxis Charge deck piloted by Paradox versus the FJS aggro deck, the Frenzy, piloted by SooNo. Two decks that we have seen before. The Praxis Charge deck a bit more interesting. I believe we did a deck tech on that at the start of the day before
Yeah.
I was here in the booth. And the FJS deck, obviously, I'm sure everybody's familiar with that after playing enough of it on ladder.
Yep.
Here's the Praxis Charge deck piloted by Paradox one more time. Bit of an aggro deck, obviously, with the Battlefront Dasher and the Waystone Igniters to generate
Yep.
early pressure, early dudes. Stuff like Apprentice Mage, just a good 2-drop to ramp into your 5s. No 4-drop slots, which I find a little bit interesting. Uh,
Yeah.
Although the Miner's Muskets definitely do help. As Miner's Muskets doing similar but different things that we saw with our last matchup.
Yeah.
Obviously, FJS. I'm sorry, I believe I've misspoken. Called this FJS. This is FPS. My
Yeah.
apologies. The Fire Primal Shadow Frenzy deck is what SooNo is piloting, not the FJS
Yeah.
Unleashed
It's
deck that we
a.
just saw.
I usually call it by like the display names or the cargo names, but yeah, it's a lot easier to say FGS. FGS for newer players. It looks like we're in game now.
Yeah, and Paradox has what I would call a very reasonable hand. Is light on power, and the seat coming in to play depleted does make
It's
things
gonna
a
be a
bit
yeah.
awkward. Is going second, I believe, so has that chance for this hand to shape out.
SooNo keeps an interesting hand.
Yeah,
Okay.
SooNo keeping a similar hand. The depleted Tome and the Zoltan Conclave. I guess likely going to lead on the Tome and then play the Conclave
Yeah.
for the Stonebreaker Bow on 2 rather than play the Conclave on 1 and lead on the Terriex mount.
Yeah, for sure. That's what I was thinking. Yeah, that looks like what they're doing. We're probably. It depends on if they drew power here, which they didn't. I was gonna say that they're probably gonna go with the Sultan Conclave into a charging. They might still do that though. Charging battle. Oh no, they go to igniter. They're
Waystone
gonna contract
Igniter.
it.
We'll see which contract they choose to do. And the 4-3, playing more into the Stonebreaker Bow
Yeah,
instead of choosing to go wide. SooNo is going to be forced to take the next turn off, though, because the contract and because of the lack of power, although Paradox obviously forced to do the
Paradox
same.
has the same issue.
The Paradox has the power to go forward, though, which I believe
Yeah,
is going to be the difference maker in this particular matchup. As SooNo, stuck on 2, is not going to be able to do a whole lot. Paradox has a choice that they're presented with here. They could choose to Battlefront Dasher and Contract. They could choose double Battlefront Dasher and Contract the second, or just play the Apprentice Mage.
Yeah. It looks like they go for the Battlefront Dasher, just instantly.
I think that I agree with this line, especially when you know that SooNo is choked on power. You know that they probably have something to do, and that something to do is probably a lot of removal spells.
Yeah,
Stuff like Trick Throw, stuff like Feln Adept, which is not a
yeah,
removal spell in and of itself, but obviously a 2-mana 0/4 is going to wall most of your early units. Could be something like Plunk or Oni Insider as well. I think you're very incentivized in this situation to slow roll out your threats, like Paradox is doing.
yep. And we see the Zoltan Conclave draw and the play of it into a Paradox Mount, which will be a nice blocker for the eventual Battlefront Dasher that might come down this turn.
Very much so.
It looks like it does come down,
Still choosing slow roll.
and it's not a block. Okay. That's actually a fair move because of the fact that they have icicles in hand and a bow.
Mhm.
So just like
Yeah,
bow die.
I agree. You have the 3 life to play with for now, at least, and having a flying blocker for something like a Phoenix coming down next turn is much more important. Or blocking the Avalena. It's only a chump block here, but not letting them get that value with the 5/5 dinosaur, especially when you're this far behind.
Yeah.
Definitely worth it in this case. You still pseudo trade 1-for-1.
Yep. Paradox is Sunu is decided to play another thing. Looks like they deciding whether they're contracted or not.
And this is a very tough decision.
They have
Choosing
not
not to play
contracted it.
around the Inferno Phoenix. Obviously, the Inferno Phoenix is going to come down,
Yeah.
but does have the snowball to deal with it, and
Yeah.
can.
Or they can also stronghold it because stronghold has victim's crime.
Interesting. I don't hate this play. Obviously, both deal with the Phoenix. This does play into your power more efficiently and does let you develop your stronghold. The
Yep.
2/2, the charge unit,
Has double damage
gaining.
as well.
Yes. Coming down immediately from that. Forced to jump to not die to it. And
Yep. Guns blazing
things
on the apprentice mage.
things are not looking great for SooNo in this spot. Is going to be able to stabilize a bit here by playing out one of their units, but next turn the Barbarian Gorilla is coming down, generating 2-for-1 off that body, and being forced to block and trade with the 2/2 double damage means they're going to be put down to
That
2,
is game.
or the Inferno Phoenix is going to come off the top and just be lethal.
All right.
And going into game 2 here. The power situation for both players unfortunate at the start, although Paradox having the 3 naturally in their hand,
Yeah.
getting the power draws as they go. Both players did get power as the game went on. It's just that
However, what was it? I forgot the name already.
yeah, the Praxis Charge deck, much more suited to run on low amounts of power, especially given those opening hands.
Sunu.
The
Yeah, so
FPS deck,
Sunu had very little power going into the early turns, and then kind of just drew into it later on.
yeah, the FPS deck obviously able to still function on low amounts of
Yeah,
power, and the double stone break bow too. But the contracts can be very punishing
yeah,
if you
definitely
don't have the power.
for sure. Looks like we're gonna see a Wasteland Igniter become a 4/3 early on. Same play as last time.
Hmm
Find that play super interesting if I'm being honest.
Yeah, I'm
See the
still
Wasteland Igniter come
curious.
swing.
Uh, Personally, I think the 1/1 contract against decks with Stonebreaker Bow is usually more correct, although obviously uh, the lack of a fire is going to be pretty critical here. Still has actually has no plays able to be made right now from their
Yeah,
hand as they're still choked on that 4th power.
choked on the
Battlefront
fourth
Dash is going to
power.
start the race. The Plunk
Choked on the
contract has the
yeah,
potential to help.
they're choked on the fourth power, and they don't have fire. So
And this is just an unfortunate situation for SooNo right now. Choked on that
yeah,
4th power. The contracts are going to keep them below their threshold anyway. So
drop
even
safe
if they
titling.
draw it, yeah, even if they draw it, they're
Uh,
not going to be able to play Sahin this turn, although it does come now. Not out of
yeah,
this by any means. Hand is packed with goodies still.
gonna get a contract on the Torque. And we're gonna see Solux come down, or an Inferno Phoenix actually. Inferno Phoenix is gonna come down this turn. Oh no, it looks
Yeah,
right as Solux.
it looks like
Swing
Solix coming
for
down.
swing for 7 here. Block that, and then everything gets silenced.
Yeah, silence relevant against this deck, although not at the moment, with Nico not being in the void. The
Yeah,
killer much more relevant, I would say, at the moment.
anything they drop, Solux is just gonna kill.
Choosing to trade the Far From Home for the Rocket Sled.
Well, Far From only has 2 targets, so it doesn't get like max value out of it.
Correct. I don't disagree with this. Having to make a very awkward decision right now could kill the 4/4 with the Stonebreaker bow
Yeah,
contracted.
or they could kill
Obviously
it with
can also
icicles.
mhm.
Yeah.
Icicles
Either way, you had to
also.
kill Solux there.
Yeah, you had to kill Solix. The only question was how you wanted to kill Solix. Could have also opted to ping the 2/1 with the snowball and then contract the bow. I The icicle is also obviously more power efficient and leaves you open this turn, as committing yourself to the contract limits your options this turn. And the Inferno Phoenix obviously has to be dealt with, has the means to do so still, with Snowball and
Yeah.
the Stonebreaker bow in hand. Choose Snowball
Well,
Phoenix.
Stunbreaker Bow would just kill them.
Yes, true. The Stonebreaker bow only for the follow-up hit on the
Yeah.
2/1, should they choose to do so.
That Hexavore has something. They're gonna go ahead and go for the kill here.
Exhaust, yeah, Hexavore had charged, wouldn't have mattered because 3 power already on the board, and Paradox takes a very quick match.
Yep. See what other games are on.
Yeah. Yeah. Going in, I thought the FPS deck definitely going to be more of a controlling role, and I can see that's how the games did indeed play out. The Praxis Charge
Yeah.
deck very much has one direction, and that
Yeah.
direction is at your face.
Yeah.
The
Very much
FPS deck,
so.
the
FPS deck
FPS deck
didn't.
more modal.
Yeah, the FPS deck kind of had some unfortunate issues with drawing, unfortunately. So we
Yes,
didn't get to see the full potential of it.
yes, also very
Um,
true. SooNo, unfortunately, being choked on 2 power into 3 power both games, and we also saw how punishing those contracts can be when you don't hit
yeah,
your power drops, or even sometimes when you do hit your power drops. Choosing when to contract and what to contract can definitely be a make or break in a lot of these matchups in this current expedition format.
yeah, for sure.
Okay. And
Okay.
we are going to take a quick break here and then come back for John K
No, we're
versus
not taking a
Spiff.
break. No, no, no. We're
Uh,
going right into Smith versus John K. Guys.
okay. Uh, we're going straight into John K versus Spifferific. Then I believe they are on game 3.
Yeah.
Spifferific on Skycrag
Like
Spells and
spells.
John K on Argenport Control.
Yeah, it looks like we got the deck list up. It looks like we're not going straight into it. That's our next thing we're going into.
Skycrag Spells deck. Obviously,
A little
Skycrag
bit different
looks
than
like.
Roshi's list as well.
Mhm.
It looks like John K. Kaz has kept a interesting hand. I cannot see Sif's hand right now, unfortunately.
Yes, fifth hand looks pretty standard. Gonna have the Zoltan Ambassador on 2. As long as
And
it
then into
lives,
the
you get the
Torque.
Torque on 3. John
Yeah,
K would have to Saloon Massacre contract,
yeah.
or not contract, sorry, just
Just
Saloon
Saloon
Massacre.
Massacre.
Choose
Yeah.
to do so. Doesn't want
Closing
to
Conclave into
get
another
the engine
Primal, into
online.
a Torque. Contracting it is a very, very good thing to do.
Hmm.
Gives additional discard fodder potentially. Looks like we're gonna get a Lunar Claw getting a full kill on the Torque.
Yeah, no rocket sled this time.
Rocket Sled is very important to these false decks as well.
100%, especially with something like Frostburn.
Yeah.
Uh,
Zeta comes down, probably discarding the Snowball. Not much you want. Oh, the Elemental Fury also
Elemental
works because
Fury comes down.
I think actually I don't hate that if I'm being honest because the Elemental Fury doesn't do much against Origin Control.
Correct. I also I'm not a huge fan of that card in the matchup personally. Black Book obviously dodges it. It's useful against a Gift of the Auric Bank that resolves, uh,
Yeah,
but that's really the only utility you have. And the Gift of the Auric Bank is not too backbreaking until multiples.
yeah. Well, we got the Blackwood came down, getting rid of the Display of Survival.
Hmm.
Frostprint comes down, invoking.
Yeah, looking for something to answer this Black Book, which currently, with the state of their hand, is unanswerable. Permafrost can't hit the Endurance unit.
We got the
Looks like,
7-drop dragon that kills all relics.
yeah, uh, talking about multiple copies of Gift of the Auric Bank. Uh, Spiff's still stuck on power, unfortunately for them, and
Spiffs is just scooped.
just scoops it up, and that's was indeed game 3, so that's the match.
Yeah, that was heartbreaking, honestly.
Yeah, a bit unfortunate to see 3 games on camera, all more or less come down to not drawing enough power when you needed it. Unfortunately, that is just kind of the game you play sometimes.
Yeah. See if we got
Currently
another match
looking.
coming up. Currently looking for another match. But while we're waiting, oh, we're going. Never mind. I was gonna say while we're waiting, but we got Phoenix versus
Zoom.
Phoenix.
Yep. Uh, See if we can find what game they're on currently.
It looks like they're on game 3.
Okay, they are on game 3. Then Phoenix, number 1 on
Yeah,
the FT, FTP or FTS deck. Sorry,
I can probably check
Phoenix
which
number
one's
2 on
which one's
Rakano.
which. I'm checking.
Oh,
Okay, I know
Phoenix
which
number
one's which.
2,
Yeah,
not
one
on
with the one.
Rakano.
The Unleashed deck is Phoenix. The Unleashed deck is the non-world champion Phoenix, and non-world world's competitor Phoenix.
Yeah. Uh, I hadn't pulled up the deck list yet, so I thought only on Rakano. And unfortunate for them that they are not on
Yeah,
Rakano with their hand full of shadow cards. They're uncastable as
yeah,
Phoenix takes down Phoenix.
yeah. World's competitor Phoenix is taking down non-world's competitor Phoenix, and unfortunate circumstances. We've
And
seen a lot of that recently. A lot of that in like this last round.
yeah, that is 4 for 4 of on-camera matches coming down to not getting the power you need when you need it.
For
Obviously,
sure.
very likely some other factors involved in all those matches, not coming down solely to the
On
draws,
those,
but a
yeah,
factor
there's quite
100%.
a bit of it that came on to quite a bit that came on to draws. Luckily, a lot of them played well with those bad draws as well. So got
Mhm.
some good games going.
Indeed,
All right, we
looks like
got
we are about to go into one of those good games now.
yeah, Beowulf versus WSG Ron. WSG Ron's on the Unleashed deck, and so is Beowulf.
Yeah, got a classic mirror here. Beowulf's Parliament Elder just a little bit bigger.
Yeah, double block on one of the Parliament Elders. That's an interesting little call. It allows Ron to get 2 more sigils out of the deck if they have 2 sigils.
Hmm.
Looks like they do not. They could fight. Yeah, we can see a Miner's Musket into a Tinkered Unionist, which will go straight to 1 cost because Unleashed cannot have less than 1 cost.
Yes,
That's an interesting little interaction.
reduced to 0, but then bumped back up to 1 once it gains Unleash. So that is
Yeah,
attached to the mechanic and not the actual card.
correct. Yeah, we're gonna see a full board coming in from nearly full board, not completely full, but a nearly full board coming from Ron.
And Beowulf definitely going to need a Saloon Massacre at this point, which would be very good through the unknown. Not currently
Not the
aware of what's
worst.
in their void, so that depends. Black Book,
Black Book Tinker Genius could be Tinker Genius. Or actually, probably it's probably gonna be the Parliament Elio that's in their void.
yeah, Tinker Unionist, not useful when it doesn't have Unleash. It only has
Yeah,
Unleash when you have the Relic, so Black Book could be Parliament Elder as well. Parliament Elder obviously on top of their board. I think that is likely going to
fairly
be the
reasonable.
play.
I think it's
Uh,
gonna be Parliament Elder too, because like
yeah,
especially since you can draw 3 of them down.
yes. Getting 2 more Justice Sigils out of your deck. Uh, this does not actually change the math on the Parliament Elders because you still have to pay one, or yeah, it does not
That's
change
pay
the math on
3.
the Parliament Elders because going up to 12 would let you put 4 of them down, but unfortunately you have to spend the one on the Through the Unknown. But
Yeah,
still, 3 Parliament Elders staring into this board. It's still gonna
another
be
3 the unknown from Rodeo SG Ron. Another interesting thing to note is the call to hit and their hand and Theowolf's hand will cause one of these Tinker Units to go down as well.
that is correct. A lot of Warcry triggers.
And I'm pretty sure the top unit of the deck also is going to be really buffed because the miners must get reduced costs as well. So that's an unleash unit. That's going to be a big swing for Ron.
Definitely there. That's 3, 6, 9, 10 Warcry triggers on top of the Miner's Musket cost reduction.
Yeah, yeah, that's a big beefy unleash unit if it's there. However, Ron is going to go for another Parliament Elder and going to drop 3 of those down. My Masters recracked.
Yep. WSG Ron looking to close out this game soon. Does get something that lets them survive a turn, I believe, from Beowulf. That's
Correct.
going to be 4
But however,
copies.
they don't see an out to the rest of it, so they scoop.
Hmm. Yeah, it would have been attacked down to 2 life, and with the 10 Warcry triggers, you are likely going to be dead in the coming turns.
Yeah, unless you drop a nothing remains, which doesn't really matter because you have to deal with the iron board first. Yeah, yeah, I don't blame I don't blame the scoop. I don't blame the scoop there.
Yeah, I don't begrudge the concede. Technically winnable, uh, maybe not practically.
Yeah, I definitely have a fair share of those kind of concedes.
Yeah, and let's see if we have another match
We do
going,
have
and we
another one,
do
Roshi
indeed.
versus Tempo. Yeah,
Going into yet another game 3, Roshi on that Skycrag spells list that we saw previously. I don't believe it is the exact same 75, but
oh
the
no,
same
it's not.
archetype.
It's
Uh, yep,
very
and
different.
yes, and PTK Tempo on another copy of Arch Report Control. The
Yep,
most represented deck in the tournament today, tied with FJS Unleash, both having 6 copies.
yep,
And I do believe this is also game 3.
yep. Shurigan comes down with a numbing cold. It could also be game 2 because they started a bit late, but it is actually game 3. It is actually game 3.
Yeah, so Numbing Cold.
Numbing cold coming down. Lunar Claw is gonna kill the Turganth.
Yep, kill that and survive because of the armor that was
Yeah,
left over. So gonna have a 1 power weapon. Could be useful for killing a plunk, but obviously don't want to play that plunk into it.
yeah,
Barbarian
correct.
Barbarian Gorillas could come down next turn. 2 copies, blow up the Lunar Claw,
Both the Lunar Claw
and
and
the
the
Mystical
Mystical
Shackles.
Shackles, yeah. And you got a 3-2 in the process.
Hmm. Could be a very good tempo swing.
For sure.
Another
Tempo, we
power
can't
coming
quite see
out.
what Tempo's in hand, but we assume that maybe that they have a Nothing Remains to deal with that. If they don't, that's gonna be a very big issue for Tempo.
Yeah, could have a Nothing Remains. playing out the power and hoping for more. Could also be Stormhalt plating.
Oh yeah, Stormhawk plating. Yeah, they're just the power for Stormhawk plating as well.
Yeah,
You're gonna
choosing
see a
Serpent's Hive.
yep,
Just wants the 3/3 blockers against the 2/4s. Doesn't want to ramp them into that potential Stormhalt plating.
yeah, correct.
Looks
Dragon
like,
Adventurous comes down, and looks like we're gonna see a hit from Tempo if they decide to swing here.
yep.
I
Now
would be surprised if
Stormhalt,
they don't though.
potential future Stormhalt plating online. I don't see much of a point in denying the ramp at this point, at least when the
Yeah,
Lunar Claw can come down to finish off your unit and keep the Lunar Claw and the Parliament Elder around.
yeah,
Because did deny the double block option with the Magnaventress.
correct. Gonna see the attack and two sigils come out of the deck.
Mm-hmm. 2 sigils coming out of the deck, thinning it out so that the top decks are more and more live the more the game goes on.
Correct.
Is fairly close right now. I wouldn't give, on board at least, a particular edge to either player. The fact that Roshi has 4 cards in hand, definitely good at the moment, but this Argenport deck, a lot
Yeah.
of good top decks can come off the top. Basically everything is very alive and very relevant at all
Yep.
times.
That Icicles comes down with the Voidbound and kills the Magna Ventress, which basically swings the tempo in Roshi's favor.
Yep, and
However, that
there's
plating has decided to show up and destroy that tempo.
Yep, plating coming down, able to kill off 2 units, but the Barbarian Gorillas is gonna see coming down, gonna be able to drop 3 copies, blow up the Mystical Shackles for an additional 3/2, and blow up the Stormhold plating,
Yep.
uh, providing a huge tempo swing back into Roshi's favor.
And it
Nothing
was so good for
remains.
tempo if it could kill the gorilla. I mean, if it had to kill the numbing cold.
Yeah, that nothing remains. Not gonna be useful when the Numbing Cold is in play.
Oh, yeah, that's
Uh,
true. That is true.
so needs a fairly good
Gives the
sequence. Gift of the Auric Bank is a good start to that sequence.
for sure.
Uh, gonna leave your 2/4s back. Throwing.
However, that is a card to get. Ravine is gonna wipe the board possibly and drop a big unit on the field.
Yeah, yeah, not.
Depends on
Not.
how much Turgonth has been played this game because we did drop in the middle of the game.
Yeah, I don't believe there are any rocket sleds. So no extra damage for that.
Yeah,
So I believe it's just gonna be 1 damage to everything, but
well, it'll
it
be two
would
because
be a
Turgonth.
huge unit left behind.
Well, no, Turgonth had two. Turgonth dropped it to two damage per unit.
Oh, you are correct. I believe. Uh,
That's why I was saying if Turgonth has been played multiple times, it's 2 damage.
yeah.
Okay.
Oh, it has been played multiple times.
No, Turgonth's been played once, and then it buffed it once.
Hmm.
So.
Okay, yeah, so 2 damage here would be a board wipe. Opts to attack first.
Is very interesting.
Yeah, I would assume trying to bait blocks with the 2/4.
Yeah.
That way you can finish those
That way
off
you can
instead
finish
of
your
just
job.
making a bigger unit. As that's the much more relevant part. And an 11
And that is a
11
unit. Yeah.
Aegis unit comes
Yeah.
down. Between the Aegis and the Numbing Cold, I think that is
I
gonna
think
be
that's
a
game.
lethal
Yeah.
attacker. And yeah,
Yeah.
just a Shadow Sigil off the top for PTK tempo means that Roshi is gonna take this game and the
GG.
match.
That's the end of the round. It looks like too.
Yep.
So,
And with the end of the round, that means there's no more games to bring you, which means
yeah, we're
we
going on
should
a
be.
break. Sorry, I
Yes,
keep interrupting you. I'm sorry.
it's all right. We should be taking a quick break here, and then after the break, we will come back with a round 4 feature match. Don't go anywhere.